Hey everybody, JK here, Exilic Music. Want to introduce you to Partly Cloudy, the latest single by Sundae featuring Che-V and Laurenzo Davids, and show you how I basically put the groove together for that track. That's the vibe. Very sort of 80s retro funk groove. Loving Laurenzo Davids with his falsetto vibe there. Okay, so let me show you the basic groove. We start with the kicks. We show you how I usually put my things together. So this was programmed, but kind of like old school drum machine step right. I tend to throw things together. This is something that I picked up from At Jazz, the UK dance music producer. Does a lot of stuff just with waveforms. So this is not using a sampler. This is not using, a MIDI keyboard or punching stuff out on the MPC. This is very tedious, very manual. But that's different strokes for different folks. That's how I do things. So these are just individual waveforms, and I'm essentially using Logic as an audio sequencer to put the pattern together. There's a bit of a ghost note in there, and that's how I did it. Just put a bit of a fade on the one preceding the big kick, and that's your kick pattern. Pretty straightforward, 4 on the floor. Although it's an old school vibe, I'm using quite a modern sounding big kick, just to give it some freshness. Okay, let's look at the snare now. We've got a snare with quite a bit of reverb on it. Quite a lot of depth, if you can hear that. There's a whole lot going on there. So putting it in quite a big, bright room. And then I've layered it with this snare, which is louder, punchier, snappier, brighter. And together, when they're layered, you've got some snap and you've got depth at the same time. Okay, it just gives it a nice 4 on the floor, kind of an old school disco groove. The song is not very fast. We're looking at 99 BPM, so really the groove has to remain interesting. So what I did then was just to give it some life, was to add that hat. It's a very live sounding closed hi-hat, and then this open hi-hat just to accentuate the groove. You can hear I'm moving the snares around a little bit just to keep things interesting. So that's basically the drum line. Percussion now. Programmed this Latin groove, just using some of Logic's built-in sounds, and then bounced it all to an audio wave. So this was programmed in MIDI and then bounced to an audio wave, and you can hear it's all panned in stereo, and a bit of a flex on the top of each fourth bar. Okay, and then added some shakers to keep things moving, because this is like kind of old school, kind of like post-disco funk, I guess. Okay, and this is just a straight shaker loop, and this one's panned kind of hard right, not hard right, but 43 to the right, and then I've got this one to the left. You can see it there it is. Offset each other nicely. One's a lot brighter, the other one's a lot, I don't know, it's smaller. Okay, let's look at the bass line now. This is programmed in MIDI. This was based off one of Logic's preset loops, and then I embellished it, changed the key, changed the notes, and wrote a lot of my own patterns in it. Funky. In fact, you can find the basic template for this is called Funky Muted Bass, and then I, did my thing to it. That's your basic rhythm pattern, bass and drum and percussion. I'm going to come back and show you what I did with I'll come back and show you what I did with the guitars and some of the synths and the keys, strings, and the brass section, of course. JK, Exilic Music, Partly Cloudy, grace and peace.